everyone, this is Ryan Cabral, and today I'm going to talk to you about the potential benefits of financing a packaging equipment. A lot of people ask me, what are the real benefits of financing a capital equipment? Well, today I'm going to try to give you some answers. Again, a disclaimer here, I'm not a certified public accountant, I'm not a tax lawyer, so I don't have the authority or the power or the knowledge to give you any tax or investment consulting or advice. Be aware of that and talk to your consultants, to your accountants, to your lawyers if you have more questions about this. Let's talk a little bit about the pros of financing a capital equipment such as a packaging equipment. Well, the first very obvious pro is cash flow. When you finance or lease a capital equipment such as a packaging equipment, you don't have to pay out of pocket. You can pay a small percentage of that value, of the value of that machine per month, and use it till you pay it off to the lender. That means that you don't have to take as much money out of your pocket to have the same benefits that you can have with that machine in your hands. The second very important benefit of financing a machine is the immediate ROI. When you're doing ROI calculations and payback period, how long it's going to take for you to pay back that machine, and you pay out of pocket, you are taking into account the whole value of that machine. Of course, you'll still do that with financing, but then when you bring down to the month level as opposed to the years level or to the period that you're going to be taking out that loan, when you bring it down to the month level, your ROI is immediate. For example, if you're leasing a machine for say $4,000 or $5,000 a month and you are increasing your production by a certain number, or you're actually saving that same amount or even more on labor costs that you used to have, you start to see that ROI is almost immediate. You can see that month to month, your money being paid back to you and being paid back in your pocket. Now let's talk a little bit about some cons of financing a machine. As with everything, there's a good and there's a bad. A lot of people don't like interest rates for an obvious reason. Of course, when you lend money, you have to then pay interest on that money, which is basically the cost for you to borrow that money for that specific period of time. You're basically paying the amount you would have paid for the machine and then some. And a lot of people don't like that. I understand it. I'm not here to say it's good or bad, but it is in a lot of ways a con when you're financing a machine. Second point of attention here is that you have to undergo a credit check and a credit approval process. And a lot of times you can't really guarantee that you will be able to come through with the approval. So that's very important for you to understand. And the third con that I probably shouldn't even need to mention, but I have to, it's an obvious thing. There is the risk of default. There is a risk that your business venture, your project that you had for that machine won't work as well as you thought it would, and then you won't have the money to pay for the machine. Now, let me give you a clear example of what financing a machine could look like. Let's say you have a company that makes cream cheese. They make cream cheese and they fill cream cheese in pouches and they seal it in pouches. And right now they're doing it with 22 people manually at a cost of around $46,000 monthly for all of that people to make that, which brings us to 46 cents if they're making 100,000 bags in a month. If they automate, if they finance a machine, they can have a machine that will actually help them cut down on their team from 22 to only 8 people that are supervising the machine and helping with other processes in the packaging line. And they are tripling their production, say to 300,000 units per month at a payroll cost now of $16,000 in people, in personnel, and say they had a leasing agreement that gives them around $6,000 for that machine. That gives you an aggregate total cost per month of production of $23,000 roughly. That brings us down for 300,000 units a month. That brings us down to around 7.6 cents per bag. Do you see how powerful that is? The savings in this situation were upwards of 600%. The ROI is amazing. The increase in capacity and the scalability of this operation is amazing. And they financed, and when they financed, they had something to justify that investment. Well, you might be asking yourself, what's the conclusion then? Should I finance a machine? Should I take on that debt, that capital, that leverage to invest in my business? I'm not here to answer that. But I would invite you to think about the math, understand how much you would save, what the ROI would be, how much you could grow, and understand if that makes sense to you, if that would justify the investment. And if it does, then maybe it might be a good option for you. I'm Ryan Cabral, and I was super happy to share this little content with you. If you're interested in this, if you're thinking about financing a machine, or if you're thinking about just buying a machine to scale up your company and improve your packaging processes, come talk to one of us, one of our consultants, and we'll be happy to help you through that process.